So next up, we are getting ready to build back better. Joining us are Senior VP Global Sales at Marriott International, Tammy Routh, and renowned speaker and author, Daniel Fox. Over to you both.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Hello.
Tammy, welcome to this first post-COVID IMEX.
I know, it's so good to be here. So good to be here.
Now, I want to start by doing something that I haven't done in almost 2 years. I want to give a real high five.
Okay, we can do that, absolutely.
How is it to be back with the team and having face-to-face interactions after being disconnected for so long?
Yeah, I honestly equate this to a family reunion.
Yeah.
And with our own people and with our customers, it's, I know we're not supposed to hug in this world today, but I have not seen that many hugs as we were joining in that trade show booth. And so it's been, it's so energizing and so motivating, and it's what we've been waiting for. So it's going to be a good week.
How's the team doing after such a challenging 2 years, not only with COVID that happened, but also the CEO, the passing of the CEO, and then the arrival of the new one? How's everyone doing?
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
That certainly, COVID was enough, but with the passing of Arnie Sorensen, that our CEO, it was difficult.
Yeah.
I think that our culture of the company carried us through, and I think that's an easy thing to throw around, culture. Yeah. But at Marriott, we believe that if you take care of the associates, then if they'll take care, of each other and take care of the customer, and then the customer will come back again and again. But it starts with taking care of the family. And I believe we did that really well during this time. And what it was about authentic checking in with everyone very frequently. How are you doing personally? How's your family doing? Anything I can be doing to make your life easier? And because we stayed really close and we let people have those honest conversations with us, we've worked our way to this point where now everyone sees the light at the end of the tunnel, and is like this event is a perfect example where everybody is so motivated to get back to some form of normal. I'll tell you, we're a lot more grateful coming out of this. A lot more grateful. But thank you for asking. Yeah.
What do you think was his legacy to the company? What the impact that he's had on that culture, and the legacy that he's leaving into an organization that is so much at a bigger scale than what it was at the beginning?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know if you had the chance to see, he did a video for all the Marriott associates globally. When he was really, really sick with his cancer treatments. And it went viral for the simple fact that this CEO came on screen to talk to all 700,000 plus Marriott associates around the world. So you could have been his number two, you could have been housekeepers, you could have been in sales, whatever. Everyone got the message at the same time. And it was Arnie speaking authentically to all of us about what was going on with the company, reassuring us we were here to stay and we would get through this. And when he had to speak about, in order to do that, we would have to put people on furlough, perhaps lay people off, he actually cried. And I think that was a game changer for all of us, that we had a leader that cared so deeply about us that his real emotions came across in that environment. So what he did is, and it wasn't by design, that was authentic, but it brought us all to the point of, we are going to be a part of bringing this company back better than ever. And Arnie, you go take care of yourself and we'll take care of the company. It was like a rallying cry. And I can't believe how many people have watched that video. So I think for us, he was that guiding light, that inspiration, and he remains so today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and I, we had dinner yesterday.
Yes.
It was so nice to be back at a table
I
with
know.
good food and good wine.
Yes.
We were talking about the importance of wisdom in leadership. And wisdom is acquired with time and experience. And we live in a culture of business that often prioritizes the energy of youth, the aggressive go and get it, which is great at the beginning of a business, but when the things go hard, when you have crisis, the wisdom is there to kind of reassure the longevity of how you can go crisis. How you've been with Marriott for 38 years, right?
That tells you how old I am, but that is correct, yes.
How important is wisdom and experience in businesses, and how can businesses nurture wisdom in their own culture?
It's really a great question. Well, I'm a big believer in diversity overall, so diversity of thought or experience and all of that, and so it's really important that you get everybody's collective thoughts. But to answer your specific question, particularly in the last 2 years, which was a time of crisis for the world, and particularly the hotel industry, travel industry, what I can speak on behalf of my team, and there's over 400 of us around the world. What they needed was leaders who they knew had been through, not the same thing, because we've never had anything like this before, but through the financial crises, through 9/11, through other difficult times in the company or in the world. They wanted to know that people had been through that and could draw from those experiences. They also wanted somebody who was calm during the storm. You always make that analogy of, when you're on the airplane and really bad turbulence, I always look at the flight attendants. And if they were still reading a magazine or talking, I'm like, we're good.
They're fine.
So I really needed people to look at me and my leaders and be able to say, look at them. They see the vision. And so that's where I feel like wisdom is perspective, it's experience, it's this ability to say, it is not great right now, let's all just admit that, but let's do what's in our control. Let's manage our world. We talked a lot about taking care of each other and taking care of our customers. That was our job, was to come in every day, check on each other, check on your customers, and that's all I'm going to ask of you right now. And it calmed the waters, and we met frequently. And leaders need to be visible, and they need to be upfront. And again, that transparency that Arnie taught us is just say it how it is. It may not be pretty, but your people can feel if you're not, being truthful and transparent. So I feel like for me, there's a lot of things about getting older that aren't great. A lot.
No, you have white hair.
I got that too. And but definitely for me, I felt really equipped in this environment because I had seen how we had maneuvered through things before, and to be able to draw on that, and then again get the collective group to weigh in on some things we could be doing. So it paid off, I think, and we had, my leaders are the same way, have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience to draw upon, and it helps in the time of crisis. There's no question.
Because we have to be careful. There's a difference between being calm and dismissing the reality. Being calm and not feeding your fears is not dismissing the tragedy that's happening. But it's understanding that we have the tools to go through forward. It's like, when young parents have their first child, now I know that they go through this phase of like, this is impossible. I will never be able, how do people do it to have a child and all? And this is why you have your parents, you have your aunts, your uncles who've been there before, who can come and reassure you. It's like, you'll be fine, you'll be fine, that's fine. It's like having a, you were talking about the airplane, you're on the boat in the storm, you're like crossing to Antarctica and the storms are all over the place. Of course people are going to be sick. You don't want to give them the microphone, telling them what's their perception. They're going to think it's the end of the world.
That's right.
But the captain is there to lead you through.
That's right.
But he's not going to hide the fact that this is not fun. What we've been through for the past 2 years is not fun. But it's not the first time that the human species is going through this tragic event. And we always come out better. These are the moments where we reassess how we want to move forward. It reminds us of the things that are really important for us. And the things that matter is the community coming together and being authentic. And you see RNA being a new face of leadership, being vulnerable but authentic,
Right.
and being a great leader.
I couldn't agree more. Yes.
Now, with a lot of wisdom has a lot of resilience. I think these two come together.
I would agree.
In my career as a solo wilderness explorer, spending a lot of time into the wilderness and studying the culture of humanity, life is resilient.
Yes, yes.
Life always finds a way forward, moving, it pushes the boundaries, it sees what works, what doesn't work. And the ones who are able to succeed in that moving forward are the ones who are able to be adaptable and resilient. How can a company, because I know that Marriott has been there for a long time, so
Yes.
you guys have been successful in being resilient. How can a company have one foot in the predictable and the stable, but also have one foot in the uncertainty and the unpredictable, and move forward, developing the business, growing the business, but at the same time being resilient?
Wow. Well, I think first of all, you don't practice being resilient only when things are tough, right? You have that, like you build muscle around this when you're practicing it just business as usual.
Yeah.
You know, every day that you come in, you're thinking about that. I think that even back 90 years ago when Mr. Marriott's father, started the company, it was always about and we still use this motto, success is never final. And we just say it constantly so that you're always challenging how to make things better and questioning, even though things are going well, could we be doing it differently? What's the future hold for us and that type of thing? And I do believe because companies like mine, and there's a lot of others, that practice that innovation, really calculated risk-taking where you have an environment where try it, with really sound business reasons. If you stumble and fail, it's going to be okay. We'll try something else. If you build that muscle and that culture, you will be more resilient.
Yeah.
And I really feel like we can still be better at this. We are not perfect, but I've really tried with my team to also, do our part with that, because we are the team that manages the biggest B2B customers for our company. So we've got to listen to that customer voice and what they need and bring that back into the company and try things and pilot things. And but the resilience, I think, I think I said this before, I am just a believer in being grateful.
Yeah.
And get up every day and point to the things that are good. Because even in the worst of times, there's still things to be grateful for. During COVID, to get up and say, I'm healthy, my family's healthy, my team's healthy. Let's do what we can do today. And so that takes leaders that can be authentically going to their team and talking about, let's do this together, guys. What do you think? Do you have a better way of thinking about this? And pushing people, and don't let people get stuck in that negative where it's out of my control, I don't have a say. Actually, you do. You do.
We don't have control on the events themselves.
Exactly.
We have control on how we face those events. And for me, life is energy. And when a tragedy happens, you can block that energy. You can be angry and bitter about it. But when you block energy, when you block water, then algae sets in and then it becomes to suffocate.
Yes.
Or you can cry as much as you want and go through all the emotions, but keep the energy moving, learn from it, and then you participate into that system moving forward. And then at one point you can look back and you go and say, I would not be here today without this, because you turn that challenge into an opportunity for growth and innovation.
It's so true. I think back and I'm like, I learned so much in the last 2 years. I wish none of us had to go through it, but you gotta come out of it going, I did learn. I'm a better person coming out of this, and I'll do better, which I hope we all learned, right, in this last couple of years. So
now, the industry is still in fluctuation. A lot of things are changing. People are trying to figure out exactly where to stand. I want us to talk a little bit about the future of hospitality, not in 6 months, but let's say in 5 years. Is it a point where we're actually back exactly to where it was pre-COVID, or there's a new concept of hospitality or relationship or technology?
Yes. Well, I certainly don't have a crystal ball, but I'll tell you things we talk about. Yes. I think everything's changed, and in 5 years, nothing's going to be normal, but that might not be bad. I do think that the future's really bright for travel. Going back to that, what people missed during this time, we miss gathering. We miss this, right? We miss getting on an airplane and be able to go anywhere in the world we want to go. And so there's a lot of pent-up demand. Leisure was already back, not to the 2019 levels, but in some parts of the world, it's better than 19 because people need to go. Business travel is coming back, and it will be back, and the same with groups and meetings. Now, what I think things will be different is, first of all, I think people will have thought about their work-life balance, and I'm going to think twice before I take just a trip that's maybe I go somewhere for an hour meeting and I come home. I might be more thoughtful about planning that trip and staying a little longer. We talk a lot about, with our global travel managers and meeting planners, about the importance of sustainability. I think that's going to be really big, and I think in 5 years it's going to even be more important as companies and organizations, like we just did, is said we've got a goal to get to net zero by 2050, and we sure like to do it before then. So we have that responsibility. I think that there's also, I think there's just a lot of ways that people are going to look at traveling differently. We're trying to stay on top of this because this isn't just about building product, right, necessarily for us. This is about experiences. Everybody wants a great experience when they're traveling, and for whatever reason. We're also looking at enabling that through technology. And right now we're doing a lot to upgrade all of our systems to be able to really know, like if you're traveling, and we need to know like what you do for business, for personal, your lovely wife, like if she accompanies you, but technology has to be layered in there to do that. So I see more personalization, more about experiences, making sure we're responsible for the world with our sustainability efforts. And then I think you'll see new products coming out, like just two we've already done. This isn't going to be nearly some of the stuff you're working on, like going into space and all the cool stuff. But even just like we heard from our customers, there's sometimes, Marriott, we need to go stay in a home, a villa, a home. So we have our homes and villas. There was customers that said, boy, we would love to take that Ritz-Carlton experience and do something different with that. So now we have Ritz-Carlton yachts.
I was going to ask you about that.
We'll show you pictures of it.
I can't wait to see that.
Yes, exactly. That's magnificent, right? So I think you'll see us come out with new things, and that's all based on what our customers are telling us, and where we might see a gap in something in the marketplace, maybe that we could provide.
I remember when the internet came about, we thought it would be the end of travel agents.
Yes.
And it actually did the opposite.
Yes.
Because we always forget that we're humans, and while we might be interested in all the technology, at the end of the day, we like to connect with fellow humans.
That's right.
This is where we find value. And now people pay a premium to have a human person that can filter through all this information. Yesterday, we were talking about how customer service doesn't need to wow in big ways. It wows by listening to little details. And I think that technology now is going to be able to allow Marriott and other companies to really be more personalized in the way that they interact with their clients and make them feel like they're listened to, because that's what we want. We want to feel like we're listened to. We're not talking to a machine that just repeats things that have been programmed.
Yes.
And it's going to be really interesting moving forward, all these, with the right leadership and the right culture for a company, it has opportunities to develop experiences that are just unique and feel like they're just for you?
Well, that's it. And that is a very difficult thing to do in a company that's got 30 brands and 7,800 plus and growing hotels. How do you take that, what's wonderful about that, all these unique brands and these unique places in the world and scale, and make it feel small and customized and personalized? And so we want to do that in whatever way the customer wants to come to us. So I love that you brought up like the travel agencies, or in this particular show it'd be the group intermediaries. So we have, if you want to come to us direct, we want to have the best direct channels you could possibly have, and we know you and we can serve up customized. Or if you want to use someone else who can help deliver that, we want to do that too. And we really, our goal is to be best in class in however you want to come to us. But it is about personal.
I know you are. I know you are.
We're trying.
I want to ask you a little bit about you. Yesterday we talked about the crisis of staffing in the industry. It's a big challenge. There's a shortage of staff, and the training is hard and everything. How is the industry moving forward, and how are you trying to go through that storm? Because that is another storm for the industry.
Go back to the wisdom and being around. I've never seen anything like this ever in the travel, at least in the hotel portion, but I think it's everyone, is we can't fill all the positions that are open. And some people left the industry, it scared them. This last couple of years really scared them, and they found jobs somewhere else. Others are just still on the deciding about whether they're going to come back or not. So a couple things, we're doing a lot, but a couple things we're doing is, working with like US travel and different organizations to say, we need to really, we don't do a very good job of saying what amazing career it is to work in hospitality. It's rewarding, every day's different, you could live anywhere in the world, do all kinds of things. You get to work, in happy places, resorts, and hotels. So we need to tell the story about how great a career it is and how fast you can move up if you choose to. We're also at Marriott, and like I know other hotel companies did, we're paying more. To get people. And it's the total package. It's not just it's your pay, but it's also about all the other benefits that come with that are so important right now. Like people need benefits, and so when you're tied to a big company, you have all of that, and it's about career aspirations. We are. I've been lucky that my team's always been able to have a flexible work environment. But what we're doing more broadly than that are for jobs that don't have to be at the hotel. You can work from anywhere. And because I can't believe how much that's come out as, I'm not willing to come back to work if I have to go into that office every day, right, kind of a thing. So
it's getting wild out there.
The animals are in the cage. So I think so we're doing a lot of recruiting, a lot of trying to again talk about how great the industry is for career opportunities. And then the other part is it's a competitive marketplace with people coming after your existing employees. So we have to make sure that we are the best place to work. That people would say, yes, I could make a little bit more money over there, but I choose to stay. And in the meantime, I think our general managers at the properties, hotels, are doing an amazing job because they're having to not only recruit within their market and compete with each other, but I've seen in some instances where they're working, like at least in the Marriott world, these general managers of multiple hotels are working together to help with, maybe you could send some employees over here, I've got a big group in-house, and this collaboration that nobody needed to do before. But we're not there yet. We still have a lot of jobs open.
This younger culture doesn't like the idea of like staying in one place for 30 years. They love the idea of experiencing different environments, different challenges, Do you think it's possible to harness that desire for change, but internally, so that someone can start working for Marriott and move in different places without but at the same time growing within the structure so that you can basically take advantage of that desire that they have as opposed to see it as a negative aspect.
Well, that's the beauty of the hotel industry,
Yeah.
right? So you could say, you know, I want to work at a hotel in operations for a while. I think food and beverage is interesting. Go work in food and beverage. I think I'd like to work at your corporate headquarters, and I'm interested in brand. I've lived in the United States my whole life. I've always wanted to live abroad. Like, I think it's the perfect industry for those who want to be able to move around, and it's not always moving up as well, right?
It's sideways.
Yes, I want to go here, I want to go here. And I just think it's the perfect industry to do that. And then again, to see the world. Like that, I know I have 2 nieces, and like they love the idea that they could go travel and see things, and in their particular careers they've chosen, they don't get to do that in their career, but they can sure do it in their personal time. So I think we should be I'm going to make a note after this. I think we need to market it more in what you just said.
Well, it's the incentive before for loyalty with stability, right? You come into a company and you know that you're going to be there for 30 years, 40 years, you can buy a house, you can build a family. That stability is no more an incentive for people. And their incentive for them would be more about different experiences, being able to move, so they're not like, oh, now I have to do the same task over and over again. But if I can move sideways, I can explore the world, I can bring my family with me, then their loyalty will be based on that.
Exactly.
And yesterday, I think we're talking about how do we face that new challenge. I think that's one way to do it.
Yes, I agree.
Now, we're talking about space. I'm going to be taking kids to space in 2024. Is there a chance that at one point we're going to have a Marriott hotel around the Earth or on the moon?
I never say never. I didn't think we would. When I started with the company, we had 200 hotels. I never thought we'd have 30 brands, 7,800, a yacht. So never say never. Yes.
I think that there's definitely a chance for a hospitality brand to take the lead. And
can't you see that with what you're working on? And we could have Bonvoy branding on your. We need to talk a little bit more about that. But it's such a. You have companies like Axiom now that are building their own space station, and while the focus has been a lot on the engineering aspect of it, as we bring the public up, now there's going to be an hospitality aspect to this new frontier. Yes.
And wellness is going to be really important, and that's going to be, a new environment with a lot of challenges. But at the core of it, it's still the same thing. It's still about human experiences. Gathering around a table, whether it's up in space or right here. But I think food brings us all together, and whether it's tonight or in space, it's a campfire.
Yes.
In fact, we have to. Next time that we meet, I think it's going to be on a campfire.
I will do it.
Do you do marshmallows?
Yes.
I do. I think you and my wife are going to be talking about these crime stories and going over marshmallows.
Yes.
We're just going to figure out how many more minutes we have. I just want to make sure that Susan is ready we get 5 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
Any words of wisdom left from Marriott towards obviously you have all your family, your employees, the big Marriott family here.
Yep.
This is a bigger family. This is the family of hospitality. Little words of wisdom from you personally, from Marriott, to everyone's out there right now, struggling, trying to face that the storm, the leftover of the storm.
Well, first, I really do want to thank IMEX and their whole team for having this event. Sometimes it's easier not to do face-to-face events right now, but we have to get back out there and do it like this is perfectly organized, doing it in a respectful responsible manner. So I'm just so, first of all, so grateful for that. And I think for anyone who hasn't traveled yet and is scared to do so, you need to try it, because I've been doing quite a bit of travel so far, and I know you have as well. Yeah. And it's not that different, really. No. It's really not. I mean, the planes are full again. Our hotels are starting to be full again. We need to get back out there. But I just guess, gosh, I'm going to sound like a politician on this one. But the only other thing I would say is we need to be more kind to one another. Yeah. That would be the only thing that I think I see in the world today, is this polarization. And, you know, just this idea of we all got through this together. So I just think being more kind to one another. I do think I can't wait to talk to customers at this event and get a feel for, you know, a little bit more about what they're thinking about, especially 2022, and of course, because 2023 and beyond is very strong. Yeah. It's almost like everybody's got the mentality that's back to normal. 2022 is going to be interesting. I think that what I've learned is that we all are in this together. Yep. And I've never seen the industry come together like what I would deem my competitors have been dear friends during this, because we had to do it together. We've put our arms around our customers and said, we'll get through this together. And I hope we keep that mentality as we come out of this and things get back to normal, is this ability it takes a village. And it takes all of us, and we all need this ability to win in our own spaces. But I'm just really so encouraged by this turnout. I know. If you look around this trade show floor, it's everywhere. It's buzzing everywhere. It's amazing. Yeah, it's so nice to be back. Yeah. And you know, during crisis, we see the best of humanity and we see the worst of humanity. Right. And I think it's our choice, our power that we have to focus on the good stories rather than the worst stories, and to remind ourselves that we haven't been there before, but we've been through these events before, and we've always, and this is what human species does. Yes. We're a successful species at figure out how to move forward when we hit the wall, or when the ceiling falls, or when hell break loose. But we figure our way forward. Yeah, I love that. And life is resilient. We're the embodiment of life and its beauty, and then its other side also. But I think we have a capacity to make this an incredible opportunity to become better, to reassess how we move forward, and to redefine what is important. And I think on that note, Suzanne is ready for us. Is she? No, maybe.
I'm here. She is. Thank you so much.
An amazing interview with Tammy. And now back to Susan for more incredible content on BuzzHub IMEX.
Thank you, Tammy, and thank you, Daniel. I love that, right? We're really live. We're really talking to each other right now, which is absolutely fantastic.
We can start throwing things at each other.
I love that. Well, I'll find something. I'll throw it right over. Thank you both so much for joining us. An incredible, incredible session. We appreciate it, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your IMEX experience.